All right, so Mike called Augusta to book a tee time.
Sure did.
And we've got the whole thing on tape. You're actually probably not going to believe where this thing wound up.
It was actually easier than I thought.
Needless to say, he's got a tee time next Sunday. Yeah, right. He wishes. We're going to get to that in a second. Welcome back to the Golf Podcast. We've got a lot to talk about. It is December. It's the end of the year, but golf is still rolling, and we saw Tiger Woods back in action for the first time since the Open Championship at the match.
Yes.
I want to get your take on it. Under the lights.
We got a lot to talk about.
And we got Tiger again this week.
That's right.
The PNC. So lots to dive into here, and I want to get straight into the match because for one, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I think it was the best match yet.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Entertaining, and I think what we've got here, and I've said this before, but I think we've got a recipe for something that can be a little bit more regular instead of this once a year. And I know the PGA Tour schedule is very grueling, and there's very rarely a week where these guys would be able to do something alternate. But how I would love to see regular matches played out. I think there's some tweaks that they can do to make this work, but I'm thinking back of the days, the wide world of golf. Yeah,
you take two guys and just go head to head and play a match. I love this under the lights idea, and there was some good and bad to it. And you saw some of the guys like Tiger expressing some of their frustration with it. But I've got a lot I want to talk about what I like about this. I think we should see these more regularly throughout the schedule. Put 5 or 6 of them throughout the year, space them out. And I think we've got a winning combination.
Dude, totally agree. I loved every bit of it. I mean, there were some little bones I had to pick. I'll get to those in a sec.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's just jump right out of it. I mean, the lights was cool. I couldn't see the course. I couldn't Pelican Golf Club. I didn't know it. I didn't get it. It wasn't bright, but it was just, when I love the aerial view where it just showed just the lit up holes. That was pretty cool. But to the point about the shadows and things, that must have been like really tough for those guys to play in. They just had to literally swing. I mean, I remember JT was standing over the ball. I forgot what hole it was. It was like the second or third hole. And they were all talking about the shadow. Now it's in everybody's head. Now it's in my head watching it. It looked like it was a challenge playing in the dark, but the concept was still pretty cool.
Well, you know what? If nothing else, as part of one of my favorite parts about it is that it gives insight to their thought process.
Yes.
So you see how much that affected them. But like right before they went out, they were showing some audio. And the cool thing is about them being mic'd up is we get access we don't otherwise get. And you hear Tiger saying to Rory, he's like, listen, I can't see the undulations in the dark. Right. Like, I'm going to need your help reading some of these greens. So there was a little bit of a struggle. But for us as viewers, I think it was unique. I think it was cool. I, in a way, would have almost even toned down the tracers a little bit, the tracers that they had in, because I think it's so cool seeing that ball flight into the lights. But there was good and bad. Like in some ways, it's a little bit, and I understand it was for charity.
Yes, let's run through the bad first.
Well, it's for charity, so I understand no one's taking it too seriously. And they have things like you got earpieces in, you're mic'd up, you've got stuff like. To me, I would like to see an element of a little bit more of competition. Okay. In a way, I'd like to see guys who are taking it a little more seriously, almost like a grudge match to a certain, a bragging rights. In which case to do that, you'd have to remove some of the mics. These guys have to get into there. They'd have to get back with their caddies. You have to play it like a real round.
Sure, of course.
So there's trade-offs to everything.
Right.
I like that competition, but I like this access, like just being able to have, at one point, Jordan Spieth was walking you through what he was going to do with a shot out of the bunker.
Yep.
And getting access to that for me, like being able to learn from it, I thought was incredible.
That was one of the best parts. And you won't get that on a week-to-week basis because those guys aren't going to be mic'd up.
Right. Where I like that more even than sometimes where it felt forced was almost the banter at times. You could tell they really wanted them to rib each other, and then you got Chuck in their ear and trying to and sometimes to me, that felt a little bit forced. I'll say that.
But it was cool seeing it was really cool seeing them talk to the announcers while they're playing.
Yeah.
When they're talking about
provided some fun sound bites
and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool, and it definitely brought a lot to the broadcast, It
gave it a more relaxed vibe. So I'm saying that you can go one way or the other. And I think if they went that way and it was more of a relaxed, just fun, not very serious competition, I think they did that perfectly. One thing that I thought was an awkward moment, I even messaged you about this, was
the pregame.
The pregame. Yeah. They're sitting there all in the chairs, and I'm wondering, what's it must be like to be Tiger in this situation? Right. And they're sitting there and they're going around the horn to JT and Rory, all of them talk about how Tiger's the GOAT, basically.
Right.
they're just like, so tell us your first time experience playing with Tiger, and Tiger just got to sit there. And to me, like, I feel like it would be like feel weird. It's like
I know
these other guys. One guy's number one golfer in the world, and got to be talking about how Tiger's the greatest. But I guess he is.
Right.
So it's hard to argue with. But it was kind of funny seeing them go around the horn and talk about their
that's
first
got to
time.
be pretty awkward.
But
for
JT
him.
told a funny story, and he said when he was growing up, he was a real golf nerd, and he would be around these events. And this self-proclaimed golf nerd, which you could see his father grew up around golf.
Family of golf, right?
He said he went to an event. He was about 13 years old. He was just trying to get a ball from Tiger, and Stevie was his caddy at that time. And he said that knowing that Tiger played Nike, he knew he increased his chances if he took his Titleist hat off, which is funny. So a 13-year-old Justin Thomas takes his Titleist hat off, and he's just waiting. And he asked Stevie, "Can I get one of Tiger's balls?" And he gave him one.
How funny is that?
And it's just
I didn't
funny
hear that.
now.
That's
You
great.
see he's playing with them on a regular basis.
Calling him T.
Yeah, calling him T.
His dad is Charlie's coach.
Right.
Oh, he is. Okay. Hey, interesting. Speaking of coach and playing, this match, do you feel these guys played well? I feel like they were struggling. Like all of them. Even out of the gate, they're pushing shots right.
Yeah, well, spoiler alert, if you didn't watch it,
Yes.
we're going to talk
spoiler
about
alert.
it. We're going to talk about who won here. Hopefully by now you guys have caught it, even if it was on DVR. But I think you're right. For the large part, and I don't know if there's excuses of the dark or if it was just
Having fun,
they're
not
out of their
taking it
element.
seriously.
There's no caddies. They're doing it for themselves. They got rangefinders. They're trying to fire.
True.
That's the other thing in the dark. They said they had trouble firing the pins.
That's funny.
But
I didn't even think of that.
one thing why I think ultimately why they ended up winning was JT specifically and Spieth as well were putting like lights out.
That'll do it. Sure.
And JT made some big putts. They went ahead early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one super long putt
the
that
second hole or
JT
something.
sank early. I was like, oh, it's going to be a long night for these old boys.
And he's saying, hate to see it, hate to see it.
yeah.
But I think, they didn't play specifically. Even Rory, for the most part, I didn't see a whole lot out of Rory.
Just some massive ball speed from time to time, some bombs. But
Speaking of ball speed, did you see Tiger he had a
was up
higher ball speed than everybody
JT,
but Rory.
Yeah.
Everybody but Rory. Rory was putting up some crazy numbers at times, 180, 83, stuff like that. But Tiger was hanging around 177, 178. And it's remarkable to see that because you see he is struggling. You could see like when he gets out of the cart, the limp is there.
Right.
And I don't know
He
now.
was
I don't know
limping
whether
on
it's
hole
the
one.
foot.
Oh,
or
yeah. I
whatever.
saw so much content on social with him limping.
He was limping.
I have
he made
high
one
doubts
funny
for Tiger
joke,
just
though.
seeing that.
Tiger.
What was that?
They go, I forget exactly who said it, but they were talking about from the booth. Chuck says how, because JT was wearing shorts.
Yeah.
So he says how good his calves looked.
Right.
So then they started commenting on Tiger's calf because he's only got one. Tiger's
Wow.
like, yeah, well, my calf is pretty good too. Yeah, he's out there on one. But speaking of which, the guy's out there on one calf. He's got his feet, the plantar fasciitis, and he's putting up those ball speeds.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's promising. I still think we could see something out of Tiger.
It's this week when we talk PNC, we'll break it down, but he's going to be more in like a more locked focus setting then.
Yeah.
It's more of a competition. So we're going to see a little more real Tiger and see. But honestly, I see him limping more and more. I think he's always going to be limping at this point. It's going to be hard for him to battle 4 rounds.
He might be. And he said, I appreciate having the cart. So he said, thanks for having the cart while he was out there. But I still think he's not going to accept the cart on the PGA Tour, at least not yet.
Yeah.
That exemption. But again, just going back to it, like I'm watching it and I would, that's one thing I would like to see is like, sometimes at times it felt a little bit forced, and I understand it's because of charity, but like, we get 3 holes in and all of a sudden they're doing a 1 club challenge, but it's like, if all the guys make birdie, they're going to donate $1 million and stuff like that.
Yep.
And that's where, to me, it's like, I kind of like had a little bit of a craving just to see like a real straight up competitive match between these guys. And there were a lot of these curveballs being thrown, and you could tell it was very, as Tiger says, hit and giggle.
Yeah.
But when they got to that hole, it was cool to see. Like, Tiger is still the master of creativity. And I think that's why it goes back to how he was able to win. We talked about some of his streaks before, how he's able to win so much and for so long. Even when, because you take a guy like Rory, number 1 in the world right now, clearly didn't have his best stuff yesterday.
Right.
And it's only 1 round. It's all or nothing type of thing. So you got to have whatever. Tiger shows how he can even win when he doesn't have his best stuff. And he showed it on that hole when each guy would pick 1 club.
Mm-hmm.
And if a club is picked, nobody else could use it. Tiger was picking last, so he didn't get the clubs that he wanted. He also was funny. He's so much gamesmanship. He wouldn't tell the guys what club he picked.
Yeah.
He goes, well, it's not one of those. That's all he would say. So he ended up going with the 5-iron, and incredible. Nobody shot shapes like this guy.
Yeah, nobody.
The crowd's like laughing. They're looking. He's lining up all the way to the right. He's hitting these big
Chuck was calling them trick shots.
Yeah, he's hitting these big slingers. It was incredible.
Yeah, I picked it up on the... Like while I was watching, I think Tiger, after Rory hit, was like, slinger.
Tiger screams slinger on one of Tori's. He goes, oh, slinger.
Yeah.
I wonder who said it first, Mike or Tiger?
Me or Tiger?
He was hitting these big slingers, and he was just like shot shaping, and the things that he could do with it. It was just, yeah.
He was putting on a show with that stuff.
He was. But ultimately, it comes down, JT and Jordan won.
You know what I didn't like?
What?
Part. You got that part? They were calling each other part. Partners.
Like partner?
If you ever call me part on the golf course, I'm going to walk off in a scramble. Like, I couldn't take it. It was just too much.
That's what got you.
I got the clip part. You got that part? I'll get it. I'm like, come on, guys. No more.
It is funny, though. You realize how much reliant they are on caddies because they would keep forgetting like their towels, the pin, and stuff like that. But you got to think about it. These guys play,
right,
300 rounds a year with a caddy. They're very used to it.
They're very used to it. I wanted to ask you this. Do you think that no matter how big JT, Rory, and Jordan are, do you think they still were nervous in front of Tiger? You think there's still always nerves of playing, and it's.
I don't think that they get nervous around Tiger because I think they also play a lot of practice rounds with him. I think they're closer than you think. Especially that crew.
Yeah.
Where I think that they can get a little messed up is I still think that Tiger's the king of the head games.
Yeah.
And I think Tiger can still, if he wanted to in a match, get under their skin and say just the right thing.
Do you see him put the reverse sound on the golf cart?
Yes. But you see why he did that? It's because JT knew that Tiger was going to move his cart during his swing to mess with him. So JT came over, took Tiger's keys, and threw them in the grass.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that.
And that's when Tiger said, I still got this, though. And he does the reverse sound just to still get in his head. They're just like, that was the fun stuff.
That's what made it fun.
You're not going to get in a more formal match. But honestly, I like to see it kind of mixed in. Every once in a while, just give me like a real heads-up match for some money or for something that matters. It would be really cool. But to me, it was like a lot of built around it to try to stretch it out, the pregame, whatever. But it all goes to a good charity, so how much can you complain? But we wanted to see how much you guys enjoyed the match too. Right, Zach, we put a poll up, right?
Yep, I put a poll up this morning asking, after watching the match, would you like to see more night golf on tour? More events like this at night?
More yeses there than no's, right?
Yeah, we were about at 75%. Yes.
That makes sense.
It's
different. It's cool.
Look, for us, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
I love the underlay. I love watching it. I think it's for the players. We were seeing how much more it was affecting them. But come on. You know what I mean?
We're going to play it soon. Zach's got the neon balls right there.
That's true.
We're doing it with light ups, though.
We're going to, yep.
Well, Florida under the lights.
And I can't wait to do that. We've done it once before. We're going to do it again. And I just think there's such a space for that to happen more, for more golf courses. Especially, I'm surprised we didn't see it more, especially during the COVID boom when no one could get a tee time. You saw that was not like an already lit course. They popped those lights up.
Yeah.
And it made me want to, like, as a course, like, especially in these more densely crowded areas, what would be the return if like a smart business move to say, put the investment of, for a couple months of the year to rent the lights, have the lights, and be able to get tee times for 4 or 5 more hours. I think they pay for themselves and then more.
I think so.
I think a smart business play. I think there's no doubt there's limitations on whether you're allowable. There's probably, if it's a residential area, you can't be running lights. But regardless, I'd love to see, now knowing that it doesn't have to be a pre-lit course, that they can just bring those lights in. The other thing too is why I'm so focused on this idea of doing more of these matches is because I think it opens the door to bring televised professional golf to some courses that are overlooked and not get to be part of PGA Tour events.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not either they can't support the crowds or they what do you call it? They don't have the length, right? I think of a course like one of our favorites here, Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
Right? If you had it to be a little bit more limited as far as live tickets, it can't support maybe 80,000 people, but
Right.
maybe it can support 15,000.
Okay.
Right. And it's not long enough for a PGA Tour event, but it's got so much character. To me, if you wove in a couple of these courses that we don't normally get to see, it's marquee. Like imagine it's Tiger versus Rory at Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, sick.
And you put that like around like October 31st.
Yep.
How cool would that
that'd
be?
pretty
But there's
cool.
courses like that all around the country and around the world that'll never host a PGA Tour event, but they're
Without
courses,
question, yeah.
right, that could host a one night match event. I think that's another reason in the column of like why to do it, like why I'd love to see more of it.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, listen, if we were able to plan it better, you and I should do a grudge match under that lights. But no, I'm just there for the fun. I mean, it's tough to play in the dark. We've experienced it once. It's not easy. Winters Park and the lights was hard.
It's definitely a little bit tougher, especially
you lose that ball like eventually, and you got to go find it.
And if you hit it, and you really want to prioritize hitting it where the lights are.
Right. It wasn't as lit up as Pelican was.
Right.
But
either way, it was really cool to see. All right, we're gonna dive into the PNC and everything in a minute. But the other thing, this thing I had to dive into here because it made the rounds everywhere on social media and for good media. Sorry, let me say that again. Yeah. This we had to dive into because it made the rounds on social media and for good reason. This is just this clip, and it's thankfully we've got it from a couple different angles. But this is at Pebble Beach, right? And specifically the 7th hole, which is the famous par 3.
Yep. It measures around like 107, 115.
Yep. So they had it at 99 yards. 99 yards that day. And the wind and the weather was like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
The flagstick is bending, whatever.
Like a scene out of Caddyshack.
Like a scene out of, something. Like with
30 plus mile per hour winds minimum here, or
directly
At
in
least.
the face. In the face. And we're going to show the clip here in a second so you can kind of get really, because we can describe it all we want. You got to see it to believe it. Long story short, this guy steps up and he hits driver. 99 yards, driver. Puts it to 4 feet. Zach, do we have that clip that we can show here?
Yep. This is the first clip.
Look at that.
It doesn't
wind.
show where it lands, but you
just
can
look
get
at
an
that.
idea of the wind and how crazy it was out there.
So it looks like he's trying to hit a little knockdown driver there. And it's blowing right into him. But then there's another angle where it shows the result. So take a look at this one.
Look at this guy getting 2 angles.
Look at this weather too. Look at that.
Oh,
look at the flagstick.
I wonder if he
look
made
at
the
flagstick.
putt.
And look at the wind and stuff that was just the waves, the way it was pushing those waves. But the thing that you read between the lines and you realize here is Pebble Beach is kind of like a once in a lifetime play.
Right. You're not coming back next week.
Exactly.
Right.
And you book these tee times months, if not a year in advance.
Sure.
And it's about, I think it's like $650.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just the tee
golf.
time.
Yep.
There's a lot. You once called there.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some of our calls later, but
Right.
you once called there, and it adds up quick when you think caddy and you have to stay and all that type of stuff. So you have that tee time. You're playing.
We're playing.
You have
I'm playing.
But here's my question to you, and this is what we saw a lot in the comments. Is that are you disappointed that this is the weather when you get to play?
Absolutely.
But something like this happens, you got a story you can share for life.
Yeah.
Plus, this made the rounds. This was on Golf Digest, every single thing possible. Now, he's kind of famous for the shot.
He's famous for the shot.
Insta famous.
But what a miserable day.
It would be a miserable day.
I mean, you're talking 5 hours of misery.
You are for that, but for that one shot of glory. I mean, think about it. You've got the story now to tell forever.
That's true.
That'd be like you play Pebble Beach? Yeah, I play Pebble Beach. I hit a driver on number 7 to 4 feet.
4 feet.
In a tornado.
Went viral.
Yeah.
On Golf. Yeah.
In a hurricane.
Right.
Or whatever this may be. But another question I have for you is, bad enough for you, like you get the poor luck of having the weather that day. But how about the caddies?
Yeah, it's a rough.
Who've got it? They're
day.
going out there. This is not a once in a lifetime.
They're looping
thing,
twice
they're
that day,
looping
too.
there all the time. Right now they go out there. They got this weather.
Yep.
You got to tip them extra, don't you?
I think you.
I mean, it's your You didn't dial up the weather. Your misfortune
I know.
as well.
It's
But do you
unfortunate.
think you got to give the guy extra for being out there with you all
I think
day?
you can go either way with that. You'll get the guys who will say, I paid enough for this crappy round,
right?
That I'm so angry about, like I'm done. Or the guys who were thinking with the bigger heart saying, dude, you were a baller with me today here.
You were out there with me, stuck it out.
Yeah. I think I would gotta give him more. I would just feel awful.
You guys let us know in the comments. Do you tip your caddy extra when he goes out there with you in that weather? And would you still play your round? I think everybody's going to say yes.
Yeah,
no one's going to miss out on that round.
Just
at
the
Pebble Beach.
wind coming off his jacket.
Look at
was
it. It's
insane.
ripping. Well, I think about it. That's like a 7-club wind. Because you're talking about 99 yards. He'd be hitting a wedge there normally.
Yeah.
And he's hitting a driver. So incredible shot. It made the rounds for a reason. That one was fun to watch.
I don't think the heavy stuff's going to come down for quite a while.
Yep.
That's a story for life there. All right. Let's do a quick break there. Let's do a word from our sponsors. Then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the PNC, which is the next. We're going to get to back-to-back weeks to see Tiger.
Yeah.
And then we're going to dive into your phone call to Augusta.
I need some players to play with me at Augusta soon, so. All right, so you got about a week left before Christmas. Holidays are here, so why not just give the best gift you can either give yourself or any golfer in your life, and that is a beautiful box of brand new Titleist Pro V1s or Pro V1Xs. Why Titleist, might you ask? Because, well, you don't get to number one by just talking a good game. You have to earn it. And Titleist earns that, the number one ball in golf title, every week on tour, with more players trusting the Pro V1 and the Pro V1X than any other golf ball, and believe me, it's not even close, guys. In fact, it's often more than 70% of the field. How crazy is that stat? Of players that are using Pro V1 or Pro V1X. And it's not just at the pro level. It's the number one choice for the NCAAs, U.S. Amateur, U.S. Women's Amateur, the U.S. Junior, and that's just to name a few. So make Titleist your number one ball this season. Tee up the Pro V1 or Pro V1X on your next round, and always bring your best.
All right, guys, it's cold out there. In fact, we had snow over the weekend. I hate to see it. Hate to see it, but it happens. But the good news is he loves to see it because he's a skier.
Yep, of course.
As golfers, we hate to see it, but we keep playing deeper and deeper into the season because FootJoy has released its most advanced apparel layering system ever, the new FootJoy Thermo Series, and it came in really, really helpful for us in our recent Vermont trip.
Convenient. Right? It landed the day we left.
It did. Yeah. We got it just in time, and I've been wearing it ever since. But the Vermont series is going to premiere on our main channel in just a few days here. It's something that's become a regular trip for us. We love that fall golf, and FootJoy is allowing us to play deeper and deeper into the season because of this fantastic collection of base layers, mid layers, outer layers, even pants, and they're made with the materials that they not only move with you with no restriction, which is key for any golfer. It's also super lightweight. We know that time of year when you're actually, it may vary the temperature, easy to take them off, not bulky, easy to keep in store in your bag. But just using that layer, you're just going to keep your temperature regulated, and you can focus on your round and not focus on being cold out there. It's also, I'm going to say this right now, it's definitely one of the most stylish collections I've seen from FootJoy.
Yeah, they know what they're doing over there.
Yeah. So it's like, look good, feel good. You can check out the entire lineup at footjoy.com, and you'll get to see a bunch of it in our upcoming Vermont series. We wore it to great effect. It was just a real lifesaver at times out there because it was chilly.
Yeah, it sure
was chilly. So go and check that out, footjoy.com. All right, so more Tiger golf this week and more Florida golf this week. So they're going to be at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club in Orlando, Florida, which actually we may be playing when we head down to the PGA show.
Yeah, we have to figure out.
No way, really?
Yeah, it's possible. It's one on our hit list of possible places to play while we're down there.
Are we staying in the Ritz-Carlton?
Unfortunately, no.
No, sadly not. But
maybe next year.
The PNC. So this is it's a Champions Tour event. It's not a PGA Tour event.
Okay.
But it still carries a pretty significant purse, just over $1 million for a 2-day, 36-hole scramble event, which has no doubt increased dramatically in general awareness and viewership in the past 2 years or so with Tiger and Charlie. I mean, the Tiger effect carries on to every tour and every event. But you see how hyped Tiger gets for it. You saw him even talking about it just during the match. They were interviewing him a little bit, and he was just saying how excited he was, which, by the way, he said, and we're going to talk a little about the development and the of Charlie's game over the last year or so, because he's immediately a different player.
Yeah, yep.
Chuck asked him has he gotten you yet? And he said, yeah, he's outdriven him.
Mm-hmm.
But he says he hasn't
beaten him though.
He hasn't beaten me yet. But I tell you what, we talked about earlier in the show, the ball speed that Tiger's putting up. If Charlie's coming anywhere close to Tiger's distance, I mean, come on.
What is he now, 13?
13, and he's hitting the ball that far. It's incredible. But it used to be called the father-son challenge. Now they've kind of like widened it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But what I'm excited to see too is some of the, we could talk Tiger and Charlie all day. Some of the other people in the field, watching the dailies is going to be really exciting.
That's going to be good too.
I think they're flying under the radar
to win this?
I mean, they won last year, and I would still call them underdogs to Tiger. Not underdogs, but they're just not getting the same pub as Tiger and Charlie, which I think is insane.
Well, nobody's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the story. It's nobody's
JT.
But the dailies have been making such a resurgence into the media. John Daly this year has been one of the hottest names in golf. His son is also become one of the hottest names in golf, being on Good a bunch on Garrett's channel. So
they both signed a
they're
Hooters
pulling views.
The Hooters deal,
too, right? They both signed a Hooters deal.
They did. Father-son Hooters deal.
Father-son, yeah.
While we're on the dailies real quick, I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
So Frank said just now that it's a $1 million purse for this event.
Yeah.
And John Daly Jr. is still an NCAA golfer, and they won last year. So did John just get that $1 million check, or did
I don't think he got
John Jr. get any of that money and void? He obviously didn't get any of that money because it would have voided his NCAA eligibility.
Right.
Yeah.
And also his amateur status. So like what you can do, and I'm pretty sure, and you guys are some of the best at getting us in the comments. If you know the exact ruling, let me know. But from my understanding was always, and I saw this as well for like where you have amateurs playing in opens and things like that. I believe they can decline the purse so that they can keep their amateur status. So what most likely can happen is, the money can all go to his father or whatever it may be. He could have. I would imagine he could decline taking the purse so that way he remains, for both NCAA and for his amateur.
I'm sure
status.
Senior took care of him.
Yeah.
Right. New car in the driveway or something. I mean, yes or no?
Well, he doesn't want to
I know,
mess up his NCAA career.
True.
He could be saying
getting
down the
gifts.
line, I'll pay you when you're older or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I'm sure he's set for life anyway.
But I think the answer is as far as an amateur, you can turn down the money so that you don't mess with your amateur status.
I thought that they brought it back. They changed the rule recently, but I could be wrong.
They changed the rule recently for NIL deals. So you can make money as an amateur, I believe, on the NCAA if you have an NIL deal in place. That's why John Jr. is also on that Hooters deal.
Right, he got that Hooters deal.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm sure. I mean, the things change quickly. So if you guys know better, let us know in the comments. But
what's his field look like? A lot of big names.
Listen,
huh?
I'll tell you what. One thing that I can't get enough of watching Nelly Korda play.
Yeah, please.
I was really enjoying it last weekend. Sure, she didn't end up being anywhere near the top 10 towards the end, but I mean, if you want to model your swing off of something that's just technically as sound as can be, and you get some really cool clips from guys like Kisner and Max Home over the weekend, calling her the Tiger of the LPGA Tour.
Right.
And it talks about the strength of the field on the LPGA Tour, because they said, how do you not just win every week? And she's like, well, Lydia Ko gets me pretty often too.
Right.
But she said, never missing a fairway, just every part of her game is so good. It's not, it's not just she's driving the ball a long way or anything. Her wedge game is something to model your wedge game after. Her short game, just the way that she attacks the course. But I'll watch just swing breakdowns of hers. It's just, there's nothing you think of very Adam Scott.
Yeah.
When you say a perfect golf swing, there's just nothing wrong with that swing.
Yeah. Man, I would love to have a swing like that.
Yeah. It's just absolutely incredible. So she's going to be playing.
Talking about another female in the field. Sorry to cut you off there, Frank, but this was a clip that I saw at the Hero of Tiger. Annika Sorenstam. I don't know how to say her name.
Sorenstam.
Yep. She went up to Tiger at the Hero, and it was one of the most genuine reactions
was it with her son
I've
or
ever
something?
seen. Yeah, she was introducing one of her children to Tiger, and when Tiger turned around to say hi, he's like, Ani! The most genuine reaction, shows that he's a pretty good dude.
Respect, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the clip too where Nelly, speaking of her, went up to get a picture?
I love that. I was just going to say, that was last year.
Clip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
was
terrific.
great.
But so you've got Justin Thomas and Mike Thomas. There, of course, JT kind of has to carry it. Mike, unfortunately, was struggling, especially with some like injuries,
He had some injuries
and stuff last year. So it's a little bit of like that would have to be a real sleeper because he's got to kind of do all the work. Versus like you think the Dailies, they both could make a great shot. They make a really great scramble team in that way. Nellie's playing with her father, Peter.
Is that a best ball scramble? Is it like how we play it?
I believe so.
It's a true scramble.
It's a true scramble.
Yeah.
Like the match they were playing best ball.
They were playing best ball. This is a scramble, so they'll both hit. And I believe also like if I remember from last year especially, well, he was even smaller then, but there were different tees.
Right.
Like Charlie was teeing off from a different tee. But you've got Justin Thomas. We'll see again. Like I said, Jordan Spieth will be playing again. Annika is playing. And it's just a fun field. You have the Duvals, the Sinks.
Yeah.
You know,
The Sinks are always dark horses.
They are.
yeah, and you see a lot of like the fun camaraderie. There's some guys who are in there. They know they're not in it to win it, but they're like out there, and you can see like they'll have some fun. They'll make some plays.
Gary Player's a dark horse.
Is he in it?
Gary Player, yep,
He's not playing this year.
he's
playing.
Stop
He's playing
it.
with Jordan Player.
Oh, right.
So he and I think he's rotated before because he's got a couple of different sons who play.
Okay.
So I believe he's had different ones play with him at different times.
I think Bernard Langer's also playing.
Bernard is playing.
And I think he's the winningest.
Wait, you said Spieth's in the field?
Yep.
yeah, Jordan Spieth's in the field.
As who?
What do you mean?
As himself.
Is there a
He's playing with Sean Spieth.
Who's Sean? His dad?
Yeah,
I didn't know Spieth was in the field.
yeah,
So he's joining. So now you got Spieth and JT.
are in the field. Yeah,
Wow. So do you see this as like a trend? Is like more and more?
I think that there's
You're
more
gonna
and
see
more people want to
shit-
play in it, but also it's like it gets more and more eyeballs every year.
All right.
But not anyone can just join this. Don't
Okay.
forget.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you next.
qualify, you have to have won a major championship or the Players Championship to be eligible for an invitation.
Which I had no idea last year.
So everyone here is a major winner. Every person
Or
in
players.
the field.
It's just so at any point in your life you win one of those and you can get invited.
Yeah. So for example, you've got like Gary Player, who's
Yeah.
a major winner. It's not like in X amount of years. Anybody, if you're a major winner, you can play. You can get your invite to play in this thing. Nick Faldo's playing
Oh, that's cool.
as well. So you've got this mix. It's a really cool mix. I know it's like a Champions Tour event, but it's a mix of Champions Tour and PGA Tour, and I look forward to it every time.
It'd be funny.
I would love to see them do something similar with the PNC, like how they did the match. I would love to see everybody on the field mic'd up with the AirPods in so they can talk to the announcers. Maybe not the kids and stuff like that, but like the
be
tour player
yeah,
of the pair mic'd up talking through what their group is doing. I think that would be
The mic'd up thing's cool.
yeah,
those
such a
sound
great
bites are
addition.
they're gold, because we don't hear that every week. So
It's true.
It'd be cool if they eventually got to that. I want to ask you this question about the PNC. Do you think more people are excited to see Charlie or Tiger at this point? Because honestly, I'm a Charlie camp right now. I'm excited to see how much this kid has progressed in a year and where he's at right now.
Sure, Charlie's getting
Short
a lot
game
of
and
that, but
everything.
I think Tiger's still.
'Cause right now I'm like,
ultimately, he's the big. Play.
I mean, love Tiger to death, but I'm not excited to see this guy limp around the PNC. I'm stoked to see Charlie light it up. That's where my stoke level is.
yeah,
Charlie.
but you know what? Like I said, I mean, sure,
But Tiger's
Tiger's
Tiger, I
limping,
know.
but Tiger is still pulling off the shots.
Yep.
Tiger, I think he played overall for like the weird conditions and like the way they were structured, like one club challenge
Yeah.
and stuff. You couldn't get a full gauge on it, but I think Tiger played really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are. There's a dual curiosity. The one curiosity is just to check in on Tiger's game and his health.
Sure.
And the second thing
Anytime
is
we
see how
could-
far Charlie's progressed. But speaking of which, so all we can surmise this from is some clips that have come out on social media.
Right.
But Charlie's right in that age where like you're growing a lot and you're changing a lot very quickly, right in that age. You look at Charlie just last year versus this year, and it's dramatic.
Yeah.
The amount his swing has progressed.
Yep.
Last year, it was like this novelty of seeing like what felt like a kid.
Right.
Like, look at this kid. He hits the ball so far. Now it's kind of like, check out this young man.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like this guy, like now I'm looking at him as like a legit youth golfer. Kind of like the way I look at Daly Jr.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, whoa, like this is, they showed it's like his hands are as big as Tiger's.
I know. That's what I was just trying to pull up. Ridiculous.
Oh, talking about hands. Did
How
you guys
ridiculous is that?
see Spieth's hands?
Oh yeah.
The picture of
Oh, I
Spieth's
saw that.
hands, they were potentially the grossest things
How
I've ever
jacked
seen in
up
my
they
life.
were. Yeah.
I thought my hands got bad after the 100 swings challenge
that
I
from?
did,
Just
but
golf?
he's got some mangled hands.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like, well, you think about a guy who's been hitting golf balls, hundreds of golf balls a day since he was this tall.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's been a lot of clips making the rounds on social media. We're seeing how Charlie's swing has progressed. We see like the side by side with his father, the side by side with like Rory, who, going back to, we talked about this last week, Tiger was saying, I told Charlie, if you're going to model your swing off anybody, model off of Rory.
Right.
More even so than me. But I think where the curiosity is going to be is to see where his game has progressed, because like I said, he's starting to come into his own a little bit and seeming less and less like a kid. I know he's still very young. I get all that. But look, we've seen even on the LPGA Tour, people winning at very, very young ages.
Yeah.
Now we can start to really think of him as like a legitimate contender.
Yeah,
and I
we
think
definitely can. It's exciting.
I think if I'm putting my money anywhere this week, it's on.
You're going
on
Team
them.
Woods?
It's on the Woods
Okay.
team, because they're going to have to beat a strong Daly team. I get that.
Yeah.
But if Tiger plays as good as, if not better, if he like a little bit of his competitive spirit rises to the occasion, he wants to win for his son, because they came in second last year.
Tiger,
right?
yeah.
Tiger and Charlie.
I believe so.
With given Charlie's development of how much he's improved and physically grown over last year, and how well Tiger was still getting the ball around and putting up 178 mile an hour ball speed,
Yeah, well, absolutely.
I think that they could be a deadly duo and they could win this
I'd love
thing.
to see it. I'm voting. I'm rooting, but my prediction is Daly's for the repeat. You're going Woods.
I'm going Woods.
We're going
for
to
the
tune
win.
back next week and see who's got it.
We're gonna go Woods.
Do you think Tiger and Charlie, after getting second place last year, just put a big circle on this weekend a year out?
They went
and
to work
said,
right away that
We're
night.
going to work.
Let's
and
go.
we are not losing this again. Do you think they did something like that?
I
And just-
do. I do, because I think that the competitive spirit is something that's is not going to ever be removed from Tiger.
And do you think
And I
Tiger?
think Tiger wants to see a win, and he wants to win with his son.
Yeah. Do you think Tiger is using the PNC kind of as a way to gauge Charlie's competitiveness and his ability to perform under pressure? I personally think that.
I mean, there's no doubt it's a huge learning.
Yeah, and you
Form
see Tiger out there getting
parent.
his son some reps in some
Yep.
competitive tournaments, because
Yep.
he knows, like, at the end of the day, tournament golf and competitive golf is a different game than just going out there and firing
100%.
a course record on your own. And Tiger knows that. Tiger grew up playing competitive golf. I'm sure he wants to get his son in there as much as possible. Depending, I mean, they're still quiet about some of these things, but how much of a plan it is, and we can only read the writing on the wall for Charlie to become a competitive golfer. It seems like he's heading in that direction.
He's just got a lot of competition, man.
He has a lot of competition, but I think that they've got their sights set on winning this thing. Tiger figures he's not getting any younger, and he's going to be like, I'm going for it. And Charlie, I think he's come a long way. So
You watch, dude. I think the next decade of golfers that are now like 10, 9, when they're 20, 21, with all the new technology, we're going to have some ridiculous golfers coming in the next future. I mean, even Charlie, in that one round that Tiger caddied for him, he was -1. I think the winner was -11.
yeah,
So, there's a lot of competition at young ages right now. It's crazy.
There is. I've been seeing some of you just highlighted on YouTube Golf. I forget some of the names, but I saw a 17-year-old kid who played with Grant Horvat.
Yeah, that's right.
And he just like, did I even say Grant's last name right?
Horvat.
Horvat.
Yeah, I think you were
You got that one right.
I got it
surprised, but
I'm
you
the
got it.
worst.
Put that
to
one in the
pronounce it.
win column for Frank.
Yeah,
That's a win.
That
But
column's light.
it was funny. My father doesn't even really watch anything on YouTube. He sent me a text. He goes, watch this video. And it was one of Grant's videos. He goes, you won't believe this young kid, this 17-year-old kid is like a phenom.
Right.
I'll have to get his name and everything, but it's true. There's just so much great golf at the youth levels.
Frank, I thought that your dad was going to send you the video where Grant got his dad on an all new set of clubs, and he's going to be
Hey,
like,
where's mine?"
Where's mine?
Right.
Yeah, right.
But Frank
Luckily, he doesn't watch it that closely.
Yeah, he didn't tell you that Frank Senior, Frank Junior are playing in the PNC. They're the pace setters. they're going to be mic'd up.
Can you imagine?
I'd so tune in for that.
That's all they need. That is all they need. All right. Let's do this quick, fun little segment. I'll let Zach key it up because, like I teased you earlier, we're not going to keep you guys waiting anymore. Mike did, in fact, call Augusta National.
Welcome back to This Week in Tea Time Trollin' with Mike and Frank.
Good afternoon, Augusta National Golf Club.
Hi, how are you? I'm traveling into town. I'll be entertaining some folks, and I wanted to book a tea time. Is this course open for public or?
No, sir, unfortunately not. It is a private club, so it's just for members and their guests.
Oh, okay. Is there any information about membership? Is there any way to join?
It's by invitation only to
wow.
become a member.
Okay, and you have no idea what the fees are or anything like that?
No, sir, we don't disclose that.
All right. Is there any courses in the area that are comparable that I can entertain?
Let me check for you one moment.
Thanks.
I thought I
Thank
had
you
it.
for calling the Augusta Metro Chamber of Commerce. To direct your call.
The Chamber of Commerce. You sent me to the Chamber of Commerce.
So, first of all, I commend that the woman who answered the phone.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it so professional.
She kept it professional.
You know, leave it to Augusta National to be that professional. Because to me, I pick up the phone and you say you were going to play golf. I would be like, sir, you play golf and you never heard of Augusta National?
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I'd be like, come on, man.
You know, but it was kind of funny. You were just kind of like Googling it. Like, they have a phone number.
Yeah.
Let me just call
Let's
them and
try
see.
it. I mean, why not?
But I love, like, when you asked her for comparable courses in the area, she just put you through to the Chamber of Commerce. She's like, let them deal with it.
Yeah, let them figure it out.
Oh,
There's
my
a
God.
little muni down the road. Go check it
Sir,
out.
it's invitation only.
Oh,
So that was going. But then we wanted to take this one step further.
yes.
So-
I don't know how you could take it further than that, but we found a way.
We did. So now a golf course that you can actually play.
Yep.
But is notorious for being the most expensive. I guess you'd call it like a public course.
Yeah.
Shadow Creek.
Shadow Creek in Las Vegas.
So Mike figured, let's call Shadow Creek and just get a gauge of what it would cost to play there. And just wait till you hear this one.
I'm trying to get some information about booking a tea time at Shadow Creek. What would you say the rates would be for just a normal tea time?
Sure. So our green fee is $1,000 per player. And then that green fee covers the round trip hotel limo and the cart and caddy. And then caddy and limo driver gratuity is additional.
You have to be staying at the resort, or you can book a tea time without it.
No, you do have to be staying at an MGM property.
So the round of golf would be $1,000 for greens fees, and the caddy's tips would be separate.
Right. Yeah. Caddy and limo driver would be additional.
And the limo, you got to get the limo driver,
Gotta
of course. So it's to be $1,000 a player plus an extra 100. So say 1,100 times 4 guys would be about 4,400 for the foursome.
And your extra 100 was actually lowballing it because I'm sure it's 100 a caddy.
I'm sure.
And that didn't include the limo driver. So we went even further with this, which we don't see in that call. We decided let's call up or at least check out online the MGM Grand's rates.
Yeah.
So what'd you see for rooms there?
I mean, they range, but they were like $600 to $800 for the night. So if you just went for the one night, which you're probably not going to go for one night, but you got to assume your hotel for a few nights is going to be about $3,000.
Right. So all in, you're looking at it costing you about $1,500 a player.
Yep.
To play this course. So, and what's so interesting about the course is you have to be staying at the MGM Grand and you have to take the limo.
Maybe not the MGM Grand
Or
but
MGM
any of the
property.
MGM properties, which
Right.
I believe there are quite a few in
So that might
Vegas.
lower the cost.
But did
a
you
little.
notice she talked about the limo as being a part of it?
Yeah, you
had-
can't just drive there.
Right. So like the limo has to pick you up and bring you over, which is a cool experience.
Oh, sure.
But if you're thinking about, you probably tip the limo driver. Maybe that's not quite as much. Maybe it's like $25 each. So it's like $100 tip if you got 4 guys.
Probably. What do you tip a
Max.
limo driver? 20% of what? We don't know. Yeah.
We don't even know what the rate would be.
Right.
The limo's included. But then the caddy fee was included, but not the caddy tip. So you think about another $100 a bag. So yeah, you're all in. I mean, you're talking about with the room, probably $1,500 a person.
It's an experience. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to play Shadow Creek, you definitely have the means. So
I guess so.
Right.
I think either you've won big while
Right.
you're out there and you're like, yo, I'm taking some of my winnings and I'm playing Shadow Creek.
right.
Either that or it's like the ultimate business expense of entertaining like a big client. Like, I'll
Yeah.
take you out to Shadow Creek.
We got to get out there and play it.
There's something like that.
But maybe
but
not at
can
that
you
rate.
imagine? I mean, you're talking about the cost of a set of clubs for a tee time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just incredible.
That's pretty wild.
So, tea time trolling. Who should we call next? Put it in the comments. Let us know. Michael, dial him up. He's got him on speed dial. He's ready to go.
Let's go.
Anyway, that's everything we have for you guys this week. Enjoy the PNC, and we'll see everybody again next week.